Next up, we'll be discussing why modern movies are so long and why it's a problem we should be concerned about.
Welcome back to 4K Kings. My name is Matt.
I am Russ.
And welcome to your home of physical media, movie reviews, and other types of fun conversations like, why the hell are movies so long today?
Why are they doing this?
We're not really covering physical media, and we're not really reviewing a movie, but we're going to talk about something that has sort of been paining me for a while, and I don't know if anyone else has felt the same pain. I don't know if it's something that anyone else cares about. Now, I've been going back to the theater a little bit more, and I would like to thank Top Gun for kicking that back off into my life. As we all know, Top Gun has saved planet Earth.
Thank you, Tom Cruise.
Thank you. But the more that I pay attention, whether it's a movie I'm going to see or not, or even stuff that ends up on streaming, movies just seem to be getting longer and longer and longer. And it's movies that are even catching me by surprise that are much longer than they need to be or have any right being or would have been maybe in the past. And in general, let me just put this out there. Long movies aren't a new thing. It's not that like we haven't had our share of long movies that I personally have enjoyed.
I was about to say, this problem's been plaguing me for about a quarter century now. And I believe Lord of the Rings kicked it off.
What is this new devilry?
Over the years, we've had our Apocalypse Nows and our, Gone with the Winds and Schindler's List, Godfather, just to name the greats. The middle length of the top 100 U.S. grossing films between 1994 and 2015 was 107 minutes. 94 to 2015.
I have to admit, I was expecting it to be higher.
That's the middle of it all. That's right in the dead center.
Matt, I understand what median means.
Just for the people at home. Dead center, median. We got that? Not mean, median.
What's the mode?
I'm going to need to see the data set for that. Every single year, runtimes have gotten higher. As far as the median, the middle, has gotten higher over every year. Peter Jackson, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Michael Mann, Christopher Nolan, Michael Bay, Steven Spielberg, and Ridley Scott have made the longest films in those time frames. But I wanted to just share a few more examples. Again, these are all current recent movies that I myself have considered like, I would like to watch those. And then as soon as I see the runtime, I'm like,
absolutely fucking not.
Yeah. Did you ever have that feeling?
Everything. That is literally one of my first concerns when I sit down to watch a movie. Listen, we're getting older. We have responsibilities. I mean, you got to sleep. You have to masturbate. I only have so many hours in a day that I have the opportunity to watch a film. And if I'm already on the fence about watching it and I check the runtime and it's going to take me about 4 months to finish, I'm probably going to skip it. I'm probably going to skip it and watch Miami Connection again.
I know what you mean.
What's that, a tight 80 minutes?
If there was a film that needs to be 3 hours, it's Miami Connection.
So, Russ, I'm going to take you down just a little bit of a rundown here of films that are out this year. From lowest runtime all the way to the highest runtime, there is a very common thread amongst all the movies I'm about to tell you or share with you.
I could probably already guess it. Sequels, franchises, tentpoles, blockbusters.
Why are you so negative?
So I'm going to start at the low end with Scream 6, 122 minutes, or 2 hours and 2 minutes, which is 11 minutes longer than the original Scream.
Yeah, I'm going to say Scream 6 is about 2 hours and 2 minutes too long.
It felt right.
By the time you get to a Scream 6, what I would expect is that the runtime not get longer. You don't have more to say. You have less to say.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
That's part of the charm of the endless horror sequel franchises is that they're short. Leprechaun 4, that's not a 2 hour plus movie.
Give me a 30-minute short. Just a follow-up. Quick follow-up on characters, and that's it. The Little Mermaid, the new remake of The Little Mermaid, Russ, is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and I will point you to the fact that the original Little Mermaid was 83 minutes long.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
83-minute film versus a 135-minute film. Why do you need a whole extra hour? What extra story are you trying to tell that wasn't already told so succinctly and beautifully in the original Little Mermaid? Moving up the list, you've got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This one is 140 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes long, which is the longest animated film by an American studio. This is actually the movie that set me off on this tangent. When I kept seeing movies that were just long runtime after long runtime, including The Little Mermaid, and then I see this headline, animated film, longest in history, and I'm like, why? Why are animated films now? Why is this the longest animated film in history?
Unless I'm living in a parallel universe, I don't feel like the common person's attention span is growing. I feel like it's the exact opposite.
And who is the common person that's going to see that? A kid. Even if we were back in the day, kids can only pay attention for so long. They just can. And now with phones and everything, it's like their attention span's done. You're going to sit them there for 2 hours and 20 minutes?
What a pile of shit.
Next up on the list, Russ, is Fast and the Furious 10, or Fast X as they're calling it. 141 minutes.
Needs to be longer. I'm not going to let you talk negative about the Fast and the Furious franchise, Matt. This series does not apply to the runtime rule. I appreciate just how ludicrous, pun intended, it's
starting to get.
No, keep pushing the times. I want like a 24-hour Fast 12 movie, dude.
Come on. You've been sitting doing this for years. You haven't heard anything close to that.
The Guardians of the Galaxy 3, longest in the series, 2 hours and a half. The new Indiana Jones movie, which is 30 minutes longer than Raiders. I mean, they've already got a hit with the name. So now you're going to keep me there for 30 more minutes to do something worse than what you have already done before? It's like crazy to me.
They can make that one as long as they want. I'm not watching it.
Why are you so negative?
The next Mission Impossible movie, and that's 156 minutes, which is the longest in the series, and that's only part 1. So part 2 to that, I guess, I don't even know what that's going to be. But 156 minutes to see Tom Cruise do his thing.
Tom Cruise just rode a motorcycle off a cliff 6 times today.
The next movie would be John Wick 4, 169 minutes. John Wick, again, this is the 3rd sequel that has 0 plot to begin with. I watched John Wick 4, Russ, longest in the series. Again, hear me? Longest in the series. All these sequels now are becoming the longest in the series. You don't have more to say. You have less to say. It doesn't need to be 169 minutes. I saw John Wick 4 in the theater. It was so long, and I will say that it makes the first one look realistic.
I want to thank you for the information. I don't know what good it'll do me.
Beau is Afraid, the new Ari Aster movie. Beau is Afraid is 179 minutes, Russ. We're coming up on 3 hours, baby.
I will never be watching that.
Oppenheimer's next up. 180 minutes on the dot, 3 total hours in IMAX.
I feel like Nolan's trying to bomb after Tenet.
He needs to come back strong after Tenet, I'll tell you what.
And this is not going to do it. I will be shocked.
Even the subject matter, I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. No common person is interested in that subject matter. No common person sees the name Oppenheimer and has immediate name recognition.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours long. Nobody's rushing to the theaters in America to see Cillian Murphy. I see it suffering the same fate as Tenet.
And then before we get to the number 1 longest movie that's going to be released in 2023, just a couple of runner-ups. Last year, Academy Award nominated Elvis was 159 minutes. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, 161 minutes long. Jesus Christ. Then there was The Batman, who everyone knows was 176 minutes long, almost 3 hours in length. I didn't see it. That just seems like an endless movie. What did they do better than...
felt like it.
What did they do better than Tim Burton did with an hour less?
Nothing.
You can quote me on that.
And then Damien Chazelle, I think it's how you say his name, who did Whiplash and that one with Ryan Gosling as an astronaut. He did Babylon last year, which was a bomb. Margot Robbie, 189 minutes long, which is longer than Oppenheimer. You watched it?
No, please leave that in. He did La La Land.
What did I say?
You said he did
the one with the astronaut?
Right. He said he did the one with Ryan Gosling's an astronaut.
Who did that one? First Man? Are you sure that wasn't him?
Yes.
Are you sure, Russ?
Look it up. He didn't do that.
Who did that one then?
I don't know. It wasn't him.
He did that movie too.
He did that bullshit?
Yes, he did it. I told you.
Oh, him.
Those are the 2022 hits, but the movie with the longest runtime so far of 2023, Russ, taking the cake at 206 minutes. Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese, which is actually 3 minutes shorter than The Irishman. He's making progress.
Yeah, man, he's exercising some restraint. And they wonder why nobody cares about movies
I know.
anymore.
It's crazy to me. It's like you can't conflate length with substance. Like, think about this. When a movie is really long, it goes under my microscope even more so. Like, if I'm watching a 2.5 hour movie, that shit is under the microscope. So you have zero room to, like, fuck around with me in that runtime, or else I'm just going to hate what I watched. And when you talk about greatest movies of all time, that, like, let's just say one that's normally quoted, Citizen Kane, 109 minutes. 109 minutes.
And even that was long for when it came out.
So what's the reason for this, Russ?
Like I said, it can't be an attention span thing because honestly, it would make more sense to make them shorter to win over younger viewers. Also, it would make more sense box office wise to have shorter runtimes because you get an extra showing in a day.
Yep.
That's more money. The film industry is trying to lure people to watch their movies through an experience. They're trying to thrill you rather than connect you.
They're trying to throw everything at you in hopes that you'll like something rather than the whole thing. I think you're right when you say they're taking the wrong lessons from things, because you've got James Cameron, Titanic success, Avatar success, then the MCU, Endgame, 181-minute runtime. When you look at the top 5 movies of all time, they're all over 3 hours long. So they're looking at that like, again, That's what we need to do. Like, if we're gonna make money, we got to make this shit long as hell,
dude.
And James Cameron pushes back on it. They're telling him cut the movies down, James. He's like, F off, basically.
Exactly. But listen, I put James Cameron in the same category as Peter Jackson. He does what he wants. He's a boss. He doesn't compromise himself.
He is a boss.
I trust James Cameron. I've never seen any Avatar movie. I never will. But I can trust James Cameron when I know he does a movie. That's his vision.
And you see all of this too in streaming. And I think a lot of times Netflix, HBO Max, in order to get people to make a movie on their platform, there's got to be like no strings attached. It's like you can do what you want, however long you want it to be,
but
whoever
it
you
sucks
want.
Because that happens and then they just disappear into the ether.
Right.
Or they're going to half watch it. You know what I mean? Doing some other shit in their house.
Yeah.
There's no commitment level. There's no, and Hollywood, this is what they up on. They did the exact same thing the music industry did, and we're only now starting to see it because films are harder to make than music. The music industry in the early 2000s, when file sharing became a thing, decided to get rid of genres, try to hit the biggest demographic, make events. That's why Taylor Swift went from a country artist to a pop star who has songs that have beats and shit on them.
Yep.
You think she started out? No, she's a corporate fucking tool, just like everything is. We've eradicated genres. What's the last rock song you heard? What's the last hip hop song you've heard? I bet you've heard pop songs that incorporate elements of every genre all in one, though. This is what movies did. They didn't learn the fucking lesson. The equivalent with Spotify and streaming music, they try to jump in with Disney Plus and HBO Max, and they're trying to do these big ass events that cost so much money to where if they don't overperform, you lose. Just do like in the 90s. Do these middle $30 million type pictures, get your Julia Roberts, get your whoever, and hedge your bets.
Yeah.
And you honestly make more meaningful personal films that the audience connects to and go out and supports. That's what Maverick did.
100%.
The spectacle was there to fit in with the event bullshit, but he gave you that nostalgic heart connection, positivity, optimism that fucking people crave.
Love you, Tom.
Thank you.
This isn't rocket science.
No.
But they're relying on James Cameron. And it's like he's one dude who can knock it out of the park every time. Sure, he also takes his damn time, does it right. Like I said, he's his own man. If you are working under Marvel, you are not your own man. You are part of a machine.
Definitely.
You may be able to bring in a little bit of your personality into it, but you are serving the greater goal of this machine. And it's alienated audiences. Younger people don't care.
No.
And like I said, you've killed people like me who grew up loving your products.
I think another turning point too was when Netflix did the thing with Scorsese for The Irishman, which was the most expensive movie made through Netflix, over $200 million, and the lengthiest, 3 hours and 29 minutes. That's another shift of like, this is possible. We can do this.
It's indulgence. It's directors' indulgences, and the reason why Scorsese gets away with this is because Scorsese is one of the greatest fucking directors of all time. I don't mind seeing the greatest director of all time be self-indulgent. It's stupid. Get to the fucking point and get out in an hour and a half. At least then I might be able to turn off my brain and consider it enjoyable fluff entertainment. By you making it this length, you're presenting it to me as if it's prestigious, as if it has some fucking merit, and it does not. I always use Get Out as an example, because what was Get Out made for? Like $2 million or something? Nothing. And what that gross? Imagine, Hollywood, if you just focused on those scripts that are going to capture the zeitgeist, cost nothing, and you're going to be making a hell of a lot more money than you are with all the hemorrhaging you're doing by keeping the fucking MCU alive.
When Transformers is as long as Godfather, there's a problem. And I also don't know, honestly, like as I get older, just not my attention span, but if my patience gets shorter too for things or for certain, and I don't know if that's my own bias where like, that's why I'm like really railing on this stuff. I can't go see these things. I guess kids have all the time in the world, but not the ones I'm driving around.
Why?
Listen, when I say people are losing their attention spans, I'm not accusing you watching. I'm not accusing you as if I'm not. I see it in myself.
Yeah.
It is societal. We've all evolved. But like I said, why is Hollywood doing this? It's like, yo, make them shorter, and you might win over young people that way. I don't know.
Many more younger people.
Yes,
they're in your theater looking at TikTok anyway. Make the movie shorter for them. If you're sick of movies being this long, if you're walking out of movies because they're too long, or not even checking stuff out because they are, let us know. Maybe you're like us. Maybe you're not. Maybe we are old men yelling at those proverbial clouds once again, Russ.
I mean, the only argument I could see against what we're saying is if, hey, that movie was great. And we're not talking about that. Apocalypse Now deserves to be as long as it is. That is a goddamn marvel. Godfather.
That's a movie.
Godfather deserves to be as long as Deer Hunter. Basically any movie that has De Niro or Pacino. worth. If it's a real filmmaker who really has a passion, who is really attached to the story, the script, who really wants to put it out there, man, take as long as you want or go as short as you want. But these goddamn products, and that's all Hollywood's putting out now, there's no excuse. There's no reason. No reason. Yeah.
Subscribe. We'll see everyone next time.
We'll see you at the movies.
This is a great topic. I felt really revitalized and really hopeful for the future.